Hi, welcome yourself to practice today with me, Roseanne. Thanking yourself for dedicating this time to cultivate space, time to relax, time to be mindful with yourself. Today is a full body stretch where we'll connect to the body, breath, movement, designed to help you feel grounded and centered, nourished and relaxed in your own body. So when you're ready, let's join in a standing position in the center of your mat. See you there.
So as we start standing, we're just going to stand on our mat so that you're on the lengthways. It's like this. The lengthways of your mat. You're in the middle and the center of your mat. From there, if you just want to arrive and just take a few wriggles and shakes, maybe you swing side to side. Maybe you shrug the shoulders up and down. Maybe you just tip the head to the side, to the other side. Whatever movement you want to get out of your system before we just come into mountain pose. Take your time just to settle in. Don't worry if you didn't finish your movement. We will get into neck rolls and shoulder movements in a moment. But just take your time to settle into your mountain pose, spreading the toes into the floor. Feel free to close down the eyes. Just finding that length through the legs and the torso without pulling and locking those knees in. So keep a soft bend in the knees. Back of the head in line with your neck, so the back of the neck is nice and long. And in that space, as you take your time to arrive, maybe just start to check in with your breath. Can we take a deeper breath in? And can we take a deeper, slower breath out? Just signaling to our body that we're here to arrive, here to relax into our body. Even when we're standing, you still find that sense of relaxation in that standing mountain pose. Nice, last breath here, just taking our arrival. And then when you're ready to, you might just start to wriggle fingers, maybe rotate the wrist. You might next inhale, reach those arms up. And then maybe you just gently sway to the side, just give it a movement in that side body space. Nice, and then the next exhale, take those hands behind you and just start to draw the palms forward, but you're taking the hands back. So if you think about spreading the palms face forward and then take those hands back as far as it feels good for you. It does tend to feel quite tight around your chest, so maybe it's not directly in line with your shoulders, maybe it's a bit further down, maybe it's a bit further up. Just find the space that works for you. And then on your next exhale, we're going to tuck the chin in, round the back, reach forward. Maybe you're taking a little curve in the back there, keeping those knees soft. Inhale, we open up. And then exhale, reaching forward again. Just find what feels good for you. If it feels good and you want to stay there, and again, you just want to take a little wriggle, just moving in that back space of your body, also feel free to do so. Nice, just move where it feels good for you in your back, in those arms, in the chest. Nice, and then when you're ready to, you want to allow those arms to relax the shoulder. Shrug the shoulders up, draw the shoulders down. Nice, and then keeping the shoulders down, I'm going to tip the head over to the right. As we tip the head over to the right, we're just going to start to bring our left arm up. And take your time as you just reach that arm up, reach the hand down. Make sure that you're active through the fingertips, so the fingertips are reaching away. And again, you find what works for you. So there might be an area that just feels really tight. You might stay there for a breath. Stay there to give it a little tension. And maybe you take it up, or if it doesn't feel too great lifting the arm too high up, then just keep it within your range of motion. Nice. And then the next time that the hand floats down, I'm going to bring the head through center. Maybe again, just give a few shoulder shrugs and rolls. And then when you're ready to, shoulders relaxed, head tips over to the other side. And again, we're going to start to take those arms out, fingertips spread out. And just notice how this side feels different. So again, work within your range of motion. So that doesn't mean that it has to be all the way up and all the way down. I do want you to mindfully move, so do slow it down as you reach that hand away. So what I mean by that, for me, don't really feel anything when I move my hand up and down. I can take that full range of motion when I'm swinging my arm up and down. But then when I take it slower, it feels very tight in certain areas, and it doesn't want to go up any higher for me on that than this side. So do listen to where your range of motion is. Remembering to breathe, we're going to take another breath here. And then when you're ready to float that hand back down, that's it. Just give it a good shake out, and then we're going to make our way to the top end of our mats. As you make your way to the top end of your mat, we're going to inhale, reach those arms up, palms together. Breathing out, we're going to reach those hands forward, and we're going to go halfway. So halfway might be here. It might be that you go a lot further down. It might be that you need to bend your knees so that your hamstrings don't feel like they're pulling, but you're still getting a gentle stretch there. Nice. From there, we're going to inhale. And then exhale, we're going to draw those elbows down, out and wide. Elbows bent. Nice. And then inhale, reach forward. Exhale, elbows bend, draw out and wide. If you can, there's a little squeeze as those elbows draw towards the back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, gentle squeeze as you bring them back. So again, that gentle resistance. One more there. Nice. Take your time, bend the knees, hands come to the ground. Step the feet back. We're in plank position. Shoulders stack on top of wrists, deep breath in. Exhale, and lower knees down. We're going to bend the elbows as controlled as you can. Lower yourself down. And then we land on our belly. We're going to do very similar to what we just did then. So try to keep the lower rib onto the floor. So we're not lifting all the way up. Think about keeping that lower rib onto the ground. We inhale, reach forward. Exhale, we're going to squeeze those elbows, lift up slightly. Inhale to reach forward. Exhale. Bring those elbows in, lifting up slightly. Try to keep the back of the neck long so we're not straining the head. We're keeping that back of the neck long so we can just get some movement in that upper back. Nice. So inhale to reach the arms forward. Exhale. Draw those elbows in. There's a gentle squeeze as you maybe start to feel your lats start to engage. Drawing those elbows in, maybe lifting up. I'm going to take one more there in your own pace of breath. Nice. And then when you're ready to, we plant those hands down, tuck the toes, send the hips back. And we're up into our first downward dog. And if you don't fancy downward dog just yet, feel free to sit it back into a child's pose. Wherever you're at, finding a space that works for you. Nice. And if you are in that downward dog position, fingertips spread into the floor, shoulder blades drawn down and away from the ears. And then from there, we're going to look forward. Feel free to lower the knees down first. Otherwise, we look forward and exhale. We step that right foot to the outside of the right hand. We're going to come into lizard pose. So that might mean that your back knee is on the ground, or maybe you keep it lifted. Find a space that works for you. Hands are shoulder width apart, and that right foot's just out or beside that right hand. Nice. So you can also take that option with the knee on the ground as well. Wherever you're at, we're inhale, finding that length. So what that means is imagine you're drawing up from that pelvic floor. Engaging with your core, the chest is leaning forward and the crown of the head is reaching forward. As we breathe out, you might just hold there, or you might find a little space to draw the hips towards the ground. but just make sure we're not just dumping into the shoulders, we're engaged with them, we're spreading the fingertips into the floor, we're pushing the ground away. Nice, are we still breathing here? One more breath. Nice, and then from there we're going to bring our right arm up. Either we're planting that right hand onto the knee, or maybe we're reaching that right arm up, and maybe we look towards that raised hand. So left hand stays on the ground, right arm up, or maybe just landed onto that knee. Nice, and we're breathing there as the standing arm is pressing into the ground, as that right hand is reaching up. And your next exhale, bring that hand down, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. We step back into downward dog. And if you don't fancy downward dog, feel free to lower it down. Come into your child's pose. If you are in that downward dog position, can we spread those 10 fingertips in 10 different directions? Can we engage with the shoulders as we push through the ground, but at the same time think about those shoulder blades drawing out and then down away from your ears? That's it. And then from there, those in child's pose maybe coming through to all fours. Those in downward dog, look forward. Exhale, we draw the weight forward and then step that left foot forward. Nice. And then from there, we're coming into that lizard pose. So hands are shoulder width apart. Feel free to have the back knee on the ground or have the back knee lifted. Find what works for you. We're breathing here. Again, can we stay with a steady breath? And if we can we inhale, lengthen on that inhale. Can we breathe out, maybe softening into that hip stretch, or maybe allowing the hips to draw towards the floor. That's it. Last breath here. And then take your time. Then we're going to bring our left hand up. So it might plant onto the left knee, or maybe you reach the arm up and the fingertips are spread and we're reaching that hand up. Maybe you even look up to that raised hand. That's it. If it's too much, feel free to plant the hand onto the knee. Inhale, again, finding that length. Exhale, you're pushing through that standing arm. If you've got that hand raised, you're reaching the arm up. If you've got the hand on the knee, that's also okay. That's it, and you can just use it as a guide to twist. Last breath here. Nice, take your time, bring yourself out. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, stepping back through to your downward dog. If you don't fancy downward dog, take it into child's pose. Maybe you would like a little rest from the wrist. There is no wrong or right. It's about finding the space that works for you. Because if the body is overwhelmed, it won't benefit from the practice. Maybe you won't be breathing steadily. Maybe you're not listening to the signals of how to maximize how it feels good in your body. So do find what works for you. If you need a rest, take it. If you want to stay in downward dog, stay in downward dog. But we're here for one more breath. And then take your time. We're going to start to bring ourselves through to all fours. That's knees underneath the hips and hands underneath the shoulders. Fingertips spread into the floor. In this space, we want to make our way through cow and cat pose. So we want to take it one at a time. So start to draw the belly towards the ground. The tailbone is lifted. We're going to draw that chest through. So just notice if the shoulders still have that tendency to squeeze up to the ears. Think about the shoulders plugged down your back as you lead the chest forward, and I'm going to look forward. We don't have to look too high up. Think about space in the back of your neck as well. As you breathe here in cow pose, it might feel good to stay still. It might feel good to gently wriggle the chest or maybe wriggle the hips. Find in your body the space or spaces in your body that is craving for a bit of attention, some movement. Nice, and then on your next exhale, we're then going to tuck the chin in, push through the ground, round the back, draw the belly button in. And as you draw that belly button in, we're going to scoop that tailbone under as well. And then as we're here in cat pose, again, it might feel good to just gently wriggle side to side, maybe sway the hips. Again, just take movement. Keep drawing that belly button in your cat pose, so you'll find that space in your lower back. And then take your time, we're going to roll through cow pose and cat. So inhale, tailbone lifts, broaden in the chest, we look forward. And then as we breathe out, we tuck the chin in, round in the back, draw the belly button in. So we're just going to do that within your own pace of breath. Again, can we slow it down a little? Can we be in the transition of the movement? When we arrive, is a space that you want to wriggle, sway, twist into. It's giving your body the nourishing movement that it needs, a space that it needs, maybe from working at home, being sat at your desk. I'm going to take one more breath here. And then when you're ready to, we're going to start to walk those hands forward. We're going to make our way into puppy pose. So puppy pose, the hips still want to stay up. Those arms are reaching forward. If you can, we're going to stay active with those arms. If it feels too uncomfortable, do feel free to bend the elbows and bring the arms down. But notice that the hips are still wanting to stay up. If it does feel very unbalancing, do feel free to sit the hips slightly back. But you do want to pop that weight into that stretch on the upper part of your body. And then your forehead is rested onto the ground. Breathing here. Can we breathe in and can we breathe out a little slower? Just opening up that upper body part, stretching through the arms, the armpits, the upper back and chest. Nice, and then no rush, our last breath here. And then from there, just press through the hands. We're just going to start to shuffle our way into child's pose. So we'll just start to bring those knees out slightly. The big toes together, knees out wide slightly. And then we're just going to come to an extended child's pose with the arms straight out, maybe the elbows onto the ground. If that doesn't feel too great, do feel free to bend the elbows and just stack your forehead on top of those forearms. I'm going to breathe here in neutral for a moment. Nice. And then your next inhale, we're going to lift up. We're going to start to walk ourselves over towards the left. But with the arm positions, it's going to be the left arm out straight in line with your shoulder. And then your right arm at an angle. So it will look like this, but lay down in your child's pose. So your left arm is out in line with your shoulder. It's not lying on the ground. And then your right arm is over. And if you can, you bring your head to the ground. What we're aiming for there is the stretch in our chest. But then also that stretch in our left, in that right side. Through to your lats. Breathing there. Now don't worry if you don't feel it. Some of us just hold a lot more tension there than others. But being in the pose, we breathe. Deep breaths in, maybe noticing how that affects the stretch. Deep breath out, noticing how that may change the stretch. One more breath there in your own pace and time. Nice, take your time. Bring that left arm in, bring yourself back through center. Just take a moment in neutral there. And when you're ready to start to make your way over to the other side, lift the head up, start to walk the hands over towards the right. So the left arm is reaching over to the side. And then your right arm wants to extend all the way out. So again, how that might look, it'll be right arm out in line with your shoulder, and then that left arm just circling out. So again, we're aiming for that stretch in the chest, but at the same time that stretch in the side down towards your lats. Breathing there. Maybe just notice how one side might feel tighter than the other. Take your time. Noticing how each inhale and exhale is changing that stretch. Nice. Last breath there. And when you're ready to, start to guide yourself back through the center. Feel free to stay a moment there, or maybe start to peel yourself up. Again, feel free to take a few rounds of cow and cat pose. Whenever you're ready to, you can start to just make your way into seated. And as we start to make our way into seated, we're going to take our right leg over and across. I'm going to have the foot to flex, so stay in this view first. And we're actually going to, not to confuse you, but we are going to take the opposite what we normally do. So we're going to twist towards the left so that belly is open and it's not in contact with your thigh. And we're just going to bring the elbow onto that knee. So make sure the knee isn't twisting and drawing out. Think about the foot plants into the floor and it's active there. And then you just use your arm to gently hold yourself into that twist. Just notice again if there's compensation. So if you're rounded here and there's a lot of tightness here, see if you can maybe lean back a bit, open up that chest space area, twisting the torso around. That's it. Deep breath in, finding that length, sit tall through the torso. Deep breath out to twist. Nice. And then gently come back through center. I'm going to take the opposite way. So it's going to be your opposite hand holds the knee, or elbow holds the knee, and then hand comes behind. So it's left to right leg, right hand behind. So it should just be that you're twisting the other way, but the leg stays the same. That's it. Deep breath in, sit up tall. Deep breath out, use your leg as a guide to twist, and you're looking maybe over that back shoulder. Taking that twist gently in the other direction. Keeping the foot flexed. That's it. Engaging with that leg there. Last breath there. And then take your time, come out, give the legs a good shake. It might feel really nice just to give your torso a little shake as well. And then we're going to take the other side. So this time, left foot over and across. Try to get that foot to come onto the ground. So we're not twisting that knee or the ankle. It's planted onto the ground. The knee will stay where it is. And then we're just going to take our arm out. So right hand behind, left arm onto the knee. So we're opening up the belly first. That's it. Deep breath in to sit up tall. Deep breath out, maybe to gently twist. Using the arm on the leg to guide yourself into twist. Nice. And then take your time to release. And then we're going to take it straight over to the other side. So that will be right hand or elbow hooks across, and then other hand sits behind. So now this time it will be the torso is twisting towards that leg. Deep breath in to sit up tall. Deep breath out to twist, looking over the back shoulder. So it should be opposite arm to opposite leg. Breathing there. And take your time to release, give the legs a good shake, give the torso a good shake. And then if it feels good, scoot towards the end of your mat and then start to just rock back and forth. If that feels good for your spine. If it doesn't, just start to land yourself onto your mat. And then when you're ready to, we're going to start to join to rock side to side, just gently massaging our lower back. In that space, we want to hold the knees separately as we exhale, draw the knees out. Inhale, guide those knees back in. Exhale, draw the knees out, away from each other. Inhale, draw the knees in. So you're just drawing two opposing circles there. So if that feels good, feel free to stay there. If you'd rather come into more of a static version, you can draw the knees out and then you might hold the ankles. And you might stay there, or maybe you'd like to take a bit of movement, just noticing that hip space area. So entirely up to you, feel free to keep moving, nourishing your body through movement, or nourish that hip space area with a more static version. We're taking one more breath here. And then when you're ready to, you want to start to guide those legs, feet towards the ground, the knees are still staying out. Feel free to have those feet in closer, or maybe take the feet further away from you. Just find a space that works for your hips. If you need to shuffle hips, feel free to do so. But knees out to the side, soles of the feet together. If it feels quite tense in your hips today, do feel free to wedge some cushions underneath your thighs. Or maybe blocks or books or something that just can support your legs. From there, we are going to take the option either to take the arms out, palms face up, in line with the shoulders. Or maybe we bend the elbows in cactus arms. Maybe the elbows are in line with shoulders, or maybe you slightly angle those elbows up. Maybe you create a second diamond shape. Entirely up to you, but do take the option to open up the chest space area. Whether the arms are straight, whether the arms are bent, that rotation in that shoulder joint is gently just opening up that space there. And then as we're here, maybe it feels good to close down the eyes. Can we check in with our breath? And again, that conscious effort to take a deeper, slower breath in. And a deeper, slower breath out. When we start to slow the breath down, it's signaling to our body that we're arriving to be in that full presence of our body in our practice. It's also signaling to our nervous system that we're here to connect to our parasympathetic nervous system, so that's our relax, rest and digest part of our system. So can we slow that breath down, feeling safe enough to be in this pose, to indulge in this pose, allowing those legs to feel a little heavier and the chest to open with the arms out or the arms bent. And we're here for just about 2 more breaths. And when you're ready to, start to just wriggle fingers and toes and just guide the arms in, guide those legs in. Maybe you'd like to just go straight into your final pose, that corpse pose, Shavasana. Hands on the belly, hands out to side. Or maybe if you're feeling particularly stiff today, maybe you'd like to hug the knees in, rock side to side, or roll the knees round in a circle. Do feel free to pop any extra layers on. And if corpse pose doesn't feel great for you, then do feel free to bend those knees, feet out mat width, knees together. So this is usually a nice alternative if you do have any discomfort in that lower back or any issues with the lower back. But wherever you're at, find a space that you feel comfortable in. take the time to settle into our neutral rest. I'd say our most important part of our practice. Settling to neutral, receiving the benefits of our practice. Maybe noticing how you feel different from when we first arrived into our practice. Physically, in your body, mindfully, just being a bit more present with your body. Emotionally, maybe just feeling more present and grounded. And before we bring ourselves back, just taking 3 conscious breaths, those deep breaths in, and those longer, slower breaths out. Just doing 2 more in your own pace. Nice, and take your time. Invite movement to fingers and toes, maybe to the head. Take a more active, deeper breath in. And maybe part the lips, an active breath out. Take your time to stretch legs, stretch arms. And go ahead to collect those knees, give yourself a big squeeze and a big hug. Maybe lift the head, forehead towards the knees if that feels good for your back. Feel free to gently rock side to side, or maybe you start to rock back and forth just to guide yourself gently up into a comfortable seat position with those hands at the center of the chest. As we arrive back into our day and close our practice. Next inhale, circle those arms up over the head. Palms together. Exhale, hands down through center. Namaste. Welcome back. Thank you for joining practice.